Hi, everyone. My name is Indra. It's great to be here. It's my third gaming conference at White Nights. My presentation today is to provide insight into how, when, and where to establish your international gaming business for your success. So I'm talking to you because gamers like yourselves, especially from CIS countries, Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, sometimes have trouble establishing local businesses or working with local businesses when it comes to the gaming business because you have a lot of international payments and international clients. So we want to help you set up a gaming business abroad with the least hassle possible. So like yourselves, I'm also an entrepreneur. I have an international-based business, and I have had over 20 years of experience in setting up companies, establishing, maintaining companies worldwide. So I've personally built my business around finding out where it is better to establish a company abroad and where tax and business environments tend to favor businesses. So moving on just shortly about IBCC, we've been around since 1994, and we're based in Dublin, Ireland, and in Riga, Latvia. And we know the pitfalls along the way to developing your business with regards to legal, tax, and accounting issues, so it's our job to help you avoid them. So we've helped many kinds of clients. We help small to medium-sized businesses, like here we help startups, we help sophisticated players. This is even some of our clients. They come to us with these kinds of structures. They've kind of been shooting from the hip, registering a company from here and there. The main company is in Russia, but they've established so many other international companies, the structure doesn't work for them anymore. So it's kind of chaotic. So we like to think of ourselves as bringing clarity to our clients. So we like to look at the big picture. We like to talk on the short and long-term strategy. What are you going to be doing? Where are your clients? Where are your vendors? And we like to eliminate the overwhelm that sometimes you can get nowadays. So we like for you to think before you register a company. So now on to the bulk of my presentation. Here's what I'm recommending you to do. Start up your gaming company in Europe or USA. So first of all, I'll talk to you about why you should set up a company in Europe and USA. And then I'll take you through 3 case studies representing various client situations. So the first 2 case studies will kind of best illustrate the process of how, when, and where to set up a European company. And the third one will relate to a US company. So first of all, why set up a European or US company? Well, for various reasons. So clients, again, like yourselves from Russia, Belarus, Ukraine, or from non-EU countries, sometimes they will benefit from having a European company, a USA company for the respectability, transparency, stability, and sometimes also tax advantages that one gets by having a company there. And for some clients, it's not so much as that. Rather, they see a logical transition from their local business to a European or US one, obviously depending on your business strategy. So that's why I am recommending you set up a European or USA company. So now, we're going to go on to the first of 2 case studies relating to setting up a European company. This guy his name was Ilya. He's a startup. He just has developed a great game, got great reviews from the last White Night conference. And so he was able to secure some potential customers abroad, like in US or Europe. So he came to us to looking where to set up a structure, how, when, and where. So set up a company and a bank account so that he could start receiving his international payments in US dollars, most likely. And in short, he had no idea where to start. And definitely did not want the hassle of starting up a business in Belarus, especially if he didn't know if this venture would work well long-term or not. So his issues were, he was looking for easy maintenance. He didn't want the hassle. He wanted to focus on the business and on developing further the game. He wanted security. This is something that a lot of our clients want. It's not related even to taxation. It's just so that you could receive your funds in US dollars or euros and hard currency outside of your home country like Belarus. And also to facilitate payments in euros and in dollars. And yeah, as a startup guy, he has a limited budget, so maximum 3,000 euros. So the solution that we offered this client, particular client, Ilya, was to establish a limited partnership in Ireland. Limited partnerships is a specific legal entity. If it's correctly structured, you can have 0% on worldwide income as long as there's no Irish source income. And of course, we opened up a bank account in Latvia. I consider Latvia the Switzerland of Eastern Europe. Latvian banks love to service clients, Russian-speaking clients, and international clients, and they have a good level. And so this solution was within the client's budget, and I think considering everything, he got his security, he had his funds, he could facilitate payments. Sorry, this is like the next slide, like to summarize the benefits of this entry-level EU company. We see that he got an inexpensive, hassle-free company solution. So he could save money and he could focus on the business and on the product itself. You guys like to focus on the product. He had a virtual trading solution. So at this stage, at this short-term part of his business, he didn't have to set up a physical office anywhere just yet. And he had a multi-currency bank account. So he has a secure place to receive and accumulate funds outside of Belarus, and he could freely operate in euros and dollars. So that was like a simple solution for this startup guy. Then we're moving on to the next game developer. Let's see, is this? Yes, this game developer from the Balkans. This guy named Igor and his co-owners came to us. They have already several gaming apps under their belt. They have an annual turnover of about 3 million euros. So they are well under their way to building a successful long-term kind of a company. So at present, they have a local company in Serbia, which is to support its team of developers and admin staff. And they also have a Cyprus company and a Belize company, kind of a combination to receive payments from Facebook, Google, Apple, and also royalty payments. So they came to us because they said, well, I want to live in Austria. You know, it's close enough to Serbia. I want to have EU residency. I want to freely travel in the Schengen zone, and what can you help us here? So, and then as a secondary issue, they said, well, we're interested in setting up a company in Austria. We want to have a prestigious European headquarters for our company. And after speaking with them, the primary concern for us was whether Austria is suitable for this client at their particular stage of development. So, I mean, although Austria, it's a brilliant location. I love it. As a tax planner, it's great. I mean, for international trade and achieving tax efficiency and for a prestigious kind of image, it's really a great location. But it's really rather costly. We usually recommend Austrian companies to those clients who have at least 10 million euro turnover and up. So as you recall, this client only had 3 million annual turnover, at least now. I think maybe in 5 years they'll definitely be there, but not for now. So we offered 2 other alternatives for residency programs. One of them is in Latvia. Latvia has one where you can just buy real estate and you can immediately get a residency permit. And the other one was through a Latvian company. And it's easy. What the great thing about Latvia, it's the reasonable cost, and you don't need to live in Latvia, even with a residency permit. You just need to show up once a year. So that was thinking, that could be an option for you guys. And the other one was Ireland. Ireland loves techies like you. Ireland totally wants you to come and set up your Irish company there. They give you grants, they give you money. Enterprise Ireland has really great programs. And it also has a good tax regime. Corporate tax is 12.5%. And they also have special residency permit programs for techies or gamers like you. So they have a high potential startup program. And investing up like 50,000 euros in your own Irish entity, you can apply for a residency permit. So it's a really good program. But they said, nah, we want to live in Austria. So we kind of found the middle ground. We said, well, let's not set up the Austrian company just yet. Maybe do it in a couple of years when you're ready, okay? And it will pay off to have an Austrian company. So why don't you apply for a residency permit in Austria as a private person? So that's what they decided to do. So I said, keep their existing group structure. Don't, as you recall, it was a Serbian company to keep up their local developers, pay their salaries, and then they had the Cyprus and Belize structure. So just keep it. If it's working, don't get rid of it. And then consider, as I said, consider the Austrian company in the future. So to summarize the benefits again, they got their dream of living in Austria and freely traveling in the Schengen zone. They wanted it, we gave it to them. They have info now on setting up an Austrian company, so they can use it when they're ready. Okay? We don't like to give structures when we see it just doesn't fit for the client. And don't change anything to the existing group structure. If it's working for you right now, leave it. Okay? So you save money, you have less hassle, at least now. So there you have two examples which illustrate how, when, and where to set up a European company. And now on to the final story of a Russian client who wanted to set up an American company, a USA company. And this was a game testing company. Misha, he had a company from Russia with clients and testers worldwide. And he wanted to set up a US company to expand further into the US market. So they said they would later probably open an office in California, but for now there would be no physical presence in the US. They also have Russian investors who are looking to where to place their money in a more secure location, so in a company outside of Russia. At present, he has a Russian company to support its local team of administrators, operations, and developers, and then he uses some kind of third-party financial intermediaries to assist with receiving and making his international payments, which is typical. So his issues were he wants to expand into the US market. And it's really difficult where he is, and even if there are any kind of offshore entities or Russian entities, it's much better to have a US company for this. He wanted to find more US clients. He wanted to find more US-based testers this way. He wanted faster, easier payment options. So PayPal, I understand, is very difficult in Russia, Ukraine, and you have to go some roundabout way. Well, with a US company, US bank account, you can get your PayPal account. You can also do your dollar transactions with no problems. Of course, you get more, they wanted more respectability and trust and make their Russian investors more happy. So initially they said, well, this is what we want, Indra. Let's just set up a US company. Which state do you recommend? California, Delaware? I don't know. What do you think? And we'll just send money to the Russian company on an as-needed basis to support the salaries of the Russian developers and testers and pay some vendors from the USA company. Well, entering the US market it's not so simple. I mean, the most often the question that I get most often is which state to incorporate. Where do I open up a US bank account? What the hell? What do they think of Russian clients, And first of all, I always say split into two parts. First of all is, does this client have an online business? Does he plan to open up a physical office? As you recall, this client only wanted to have an online business for now. So maybe in the future he'll open up something in California, but for now he only wanted an online business. So if you have an online business, you're selling nationwide, then you can incorporate a simple Delaware corporation. There's no need to do a California corporation. I know it sounds sexy, but it's expensive. California is more expensive, the state taxes. It's not one of the best places to actually set up your business. I know there's Silicon Valley, but California is broke, actually. But so he's having an online business. So his solution for this client, is having a Delaware corporation and a US bank account. I recommend going to New York because the banks, and working with certain banks like Chase Manhattan or Citibank, which are more used to working with international clients like yourselves. So that's what we offered initially. Then, in terms of the structure, we suggested to split, not do all the US income not do worldwide income through the USA company. Why? Because U.S. has a really high tax system. I mean, when you combine federal and state taxes together combined, it's between 40 to 50%. So you don't want to have all your worldwide income coming through the USA company. You want to split it up. So for this particular client, So we kept the USA company. He definitely needs it. It's great for the expansion, credibility, stability, everything that he needs for the US market. Do it. Delaware Corporation, US bank account, and just have it for the USA revenue. Just for the US revenue. Okay? Just to find to pay US testers, to pay, those guys. Worldwide income, we suggest establishing a European company. So which one? So we suggested maybe a Cyprus company or an Irish company. They only have corporate tax rates of 12.5% fixed. Or a Latvian company, 15%. And these companies are relatively inexpensive when you compare it to an Austrian entity to maintain, and it's possible to do everything. So you have worldwide income going through the European company. And then, depending also on the client, there are certain agreements that you can have between these entities. So USA company can pay some expenses to the European company to reduce the US tax burden a little bit further. And the European company can pay on an as-needed basis to the Russian company to pay salaries and certain things that need in the Russian entity. So that's what we suggested for the client. Again, to summarize the U.S. entrance strategy, we suggested not just one, but two packages. A U.S. package, Delaware Corporation, U.S. bank account. He had an online business. So let's say he decides to do a physical office in California, then either you take the Delaware and you register it in the state of California, or you register a California corporation. But at this stage, he doesn't need one. He just needs a simple, cheaper, easy to maintain state like Delaware. And we provide full accounting, admin support to him, and the same thing, offered a European package. So we suggested a Cyprus entity and a Cyprus bank account. Again, to summarize the benefits here, we set up a virtual option for initial entrance into the U.S. market. So we'll see how it goes for him. We'll see how, hopefully everything will develop the way he wants to. So there's no wasted efforts or resources by having a California corporation or unnecessary physical office at this stage in his strategy. So he can achieve his business growth in the U.S. He can gain his respectability and transparency. We're able to introduce him to a U.S. bank account because we have very good connections there. So he can securely handle his U.S. customer and U.S. tester transaction. He wanted to pay his U.S. testers through the U.S. company, not some roundabout way. And most importantly, we separated the U.S. revenue from worldwide revenue to save money and save on taxes. So let me recap what I have covered. I've looked at why you should set up a European and U.S. company. I've taken you through 2 case studies showing how, when and where to set up a European company. And the last one was kind of like a hybrid between a European and a U.S. company. So how best to use a U.S. company in a sense. So what have we learned? Choose your criteria and priorities wisely before registering any company. Don't just spontaneously register like our client at the beginning, one of our clients. Look at the big picture, look at your short-term strategy, long-term strategy. We like to ask you what your budget is. And take advantages of what a European or USA company can offer to you and your business, which is transparency, stability, respectability, great options to get visas or residency permits in the European Union or the US. You can get grant money from Ireland, and you can keep your local Russian or Ukrainian or Belarusian investors happy. They can invest in either the European entity or the USA entity. So here's my recommendation. Set up your gaming company in Europe or the USA.